We are studying about compressible flow. In this part of lecture, we will study about speed of sound and Mach number. We will also discuss the fluid flow regimes in terms of the flow Mach number, sonic flow, subsonic flow, supersonic flow, hypersonic flow, and transonic flow. An important parameter in the study of compressible flow is the speed of sound or the sonic speed, which is the speed at which a very small pressure wave travels through a medium. The pressure wave may be caused by a small disturbance which creates a slight rise in local pressure. To obtain a relation for the speed of sound in a medium, consider a pipe that is fitted with the fluid at rest as shown in figure. Actually, initially the piston is at rest, means the velocity is zero, while the density of the fluid is rho, pressure is P, and the enthalpy of the fluid is represented with H. A piston fitted in the pipe is now moved to the right with a constant incremental velocity dv, creating a sonic wave. The wave front moves to the right through the fluid at a speed of sound c and separates the fluid adjacent to the piston from the fluid still at rest. The fluid to the left of the wave front experiences an incremental change in its thermodynamic properties, while the fluid on the right of the wave front maintains its original thermodynamic properties as shown in figure. Velocity and pressure across the moving wave. As the piston moves, a wave generates that separates the moving fluid from the fluid that is still at rest. When we see the variation of velocity and pressure at the left and right side of the wave, it would be like this. The fluid adjacent to the piston moves with the velocity dv, while the fluid at the right side of the wave that is at rest has a velocity become zero. In the same way, for the case of pressure, initially the pressure was P. As the piston moves, pressure increases and becomes P plus dP. dP is actually the rise in pressure, while the fluid at right side still have a pressure of P. We can say that the fluid to the left of the wavefront experiences an incremental change in its thermodynamic properties, as we can see in this figure, while the fluid on the right side of the wavefront maintains its original thermodynamic properties. To simplify the analysis, consider a small volume that encloses the wavefront and moves with it, as shown in the figure. To an observer traveling with the wavefront, the fluid to the right will appear to be moving towards the wave with the velocity of c, and the fluid to the left to be moving away from the wavefront with the velocity of c minus dv. dv actually the velocity of the piston. Of course, the observer will think the control volume that encloses the wavefront and himself is stationary, and the observer will be witnessing a steady flow process. Then we can write the mass balance equation for our case like this. Mass of the fluid at right side is equal to the mass of the fluid at left side of the wavefront. At right side of the wavefront, the area of the pipe is A, while the fluid moving towards the wavefront with the velocity of c. We can express the mass like rho A V. Here is the velocity of the fluid is c. A is the area and rho is the density of the fluid. In the same way, at the left side of the wavefront, the properties, it's actually the thermodynamic properties changes. As we discussed in previous slide, thermodynamic properties changes because of the piston movement with the velocity of dv. So we can write the change in density like rho plus d rho. D rho is actually the change in density. A is the area. In the same way, the velocity of the fluid moving away from the wavefront is C minus dV. After simplification or by cancelling the area and neglecting the higher order terms, the equation becomes C d rho minus rho dV is equal to 0. Simplification of previous term. The mass flow rate at right side of the wavefront is equal to the mass flow rate of the fluid at left side of the wavefront. We can also express this equation in this form as already discussed in previous slide. So by cancelling the area at both sides, we know that the cross-sectional area at left side or right side of the wavefront is same. So we can cancel these terms on both sides. So after simplification or just multiply these terms with each other, the equation becomes rho C is equal to rho C minus rho dV plus C d rho minus d rho dV. Cancelling the effect of higher order terms or rho C on both sides of the equation reduces to C d rho minus rho dV is equal to 0. So here is the simplification process for the convenience of the students. Now the steady flow energy balance. No heat or work crosses the boundaries of the control volume during the steady flow process, and the potential energy change, if any, can be neglected. Then the steady flow energy equation becomes E in is equal to E out. Or we can also express this equation in this form: H plus C square over 2. H actually the enthalpy of the fluid moving towards the control volume. In the same way, C represents the velocity of the fluid moving towards the control volume. H plus dH. dH is actually the incremental change in thermodynamic property due to the movement of piston that is moving with velocity dV. C minus dV is the velocity of the fluid moving away from the control volume. By cancelling the enthalpy H and neglecting the higher order terms, the equation reduces to dH minus C dV is equal to 0. Where we have neglecting the second order term dV square, the amplitude of ordinary sonic wave is very small and does not cause any appreciable change in the pressure and temperature of the fluid. Therefore, the propagation of the sonic wave is not only adiabatic but also very nearly isentropic. Then the second order, or we can say that according to the second TdS thermodynamic property relation, TdS is equal to dH minus dP over rho. As we already discussed that the flow is nearly an isentropic flow, so the term ds is equal to 0 and the equation reduces to dH is equal to dP over rho. Combining the all three relations, the equation obtained from mass balance, energy balance, and the equation obtained from second order TdS thermodynamic relation. Here is the equations that obtained. The first equation obtained from mass balance, the second equation obtained from energy balance, and the third equation obtained from second order TdS thermodynamic relation. So after combining all three equations, we can derive an expression for speed of sound. So here is the simplification process. The first equation or equation A represents the equation of mass balance, the second equation of energy balance, and the third is the equation obtained from second order TdS thermodynamic relation. After putting the value of dH, that is actually the third equation, into second equation, the equation reduces to dP over rho minus C dV is equal to 0. So after simplification, we can express this equation dV is equal to dP over rho C. Now put the value of dV in equation A. The equation becomes C d rho minus rho dP over rho C is equal to 0. After simplification, we can express the equation of, or we can express the expression for speed of sound is equal to c square is equal to dp over rho d rho. So after simplification, we can easily determine or express the relation for speed of sound. We can also express the expression of speed of sound in the form of pressure and density at constant temperature. In this form, c square is equal to k partial p over partial rho at constant temperature. Here in this expression, k is the specific heat of the fluid. Note that the speed of sound in the fluid is a function of the thermodynamic properties of that fluid. For the case of an ideal gas, we can write this P is equal to rho RT. After putting the value of P in the above expression, the final form of equation in the form of temperature, that is C square is equal to K RT. We can also write this equation in this form: C square is equal to under root K RT. Noting that the gas constant R has a fixed value for a specified ideal gas, and the specific heat ratio K of an ideal gas is at most a function of temperature, we see that the speed of sound is a specified ideal gas is a function of temperature as shown in this figure. The speed of sound changes with temperature and varies with the fluid. A second important parameter in the analysis of compressible flow is the Mach number. It is represented with ma. It is actually the ratio of the actual velocity of the fluid to the speed of sound in the same fluid at the same state. It is expressed as ma is equal to v over c. V is the velocity of the fluid and c represents the speed of sound. Note that the Mach number depends on the speed of sound, which depends on the state of the fluid. Therefore, the Mach number of an aircraft cruising at constant velocity at still air may be different at different locations. The Mach number can be different at different temperatures, even the velocity is the same. Fluid flow regimes are often described in terms of the flow Mach number. The flow is called sonic when Mach number is equal to 1, subsonic when Mach number less than 1, supersonic when Mach number greater than 1, hypersonic when Mach number greater than 1, and transient when Mach number approximately equal to 1. The flow is sonic flow or Mach number is equal to 1 means the velocity of the fluid is equal to the speed of sound. In the same way, for the case of subsonic flow, the velocity of fluid less, or for the case of supersonic flow, the velocity of fluid greater than the speed of sound. For the case of hypersonic flows, the velocity of the fluid much greater than the speed of sound. However, for transient flow, the velocity of fluid is approximately equal to the speed of sound. In this lecture, we studied some basic concepts of speed of sound and Mach number. Thank you for your attention.